I'm back. As you can see, I'm still in my dining room with all the little knickknacks behind me. So today's lesson is going to be expanding upon the world of geometry. You know, yesterday we talked about, or my last video, we talked about lines, rays, line segments, and what an angle is. So we're going to take the idea of that angle and we're going to talk about the three different types of angles. And we're going to make and draw in our notes examples of each kind. Now, so for today's lesson, you're going to kind of need a lot. So you will need your math notebook or a notebook. You will need a pencil. And hey, I actually found the ruler. It's kind of grubby and disgusting, but I found my ruler. So I don't have to use a popsicle stick anymore. So you'll need one of these. You will need a pair of scissors. You will need a piece of white paper. Yeah, I know. I don't have any white paper. This is all I had. So you'll need a piece of white paper. You have access to white paper. Just get it. You will also need, if you have it, which, you know, the template that looks like this. It's called Lesson 2 template with all these different kinds of angles on it. So if you're in my classroom right now, you'll have access to this. If you're watching this and you're like someone like from Texas, and you're not, you'll be like, I have no idea what that is. Well, some people have this. If you don't, it's okay. You can still follow along. And your coffee. Make sure you have your coffee. And just set that to the side. So here's what we're going to do. As much as you love to see my wonderful face, we're going to get me off of here. And we're going to go down here. Now, the first thing we want to do before we take any notes is we're going to want to make a circle. Because all angles come from circles. Okay? One circle is 360 degrees, and from those degrees is where we can chop up the circle to get our angles, okay? So here's the thing. This is going to be the hardest part of today's lesson, okay? We need a circle. So there's one of two different ways you can do it, and neither of them are particularly easy. Method number one is that you just freehand a circle, okay? And try to do it as best you possibly can, okay? Some people, what I see, and I don't know if this is going to work, is what they like to do is they like to put their hand down, like their knuckle is like you know, they can rotate on their pinky knuckle, right? And I've seen some of you do this. You do it with dry erase boards all the time. You put the pencil down and then you rotate the paper. I don't know if this is going to work, but it might. Wow, am I actually going to do this? Holy moly, that worked. So take a minute to pause the video. In whatever way you can, I would like you to make a circle and cut it out. Okay, so I'm going to do that now. I cannot believe that worked out as well as it actually did. So I can imagine a lot of frustrated young people and old people trying to do this and thinking, holy moly. It does not have to be perfect. It just has to be a circle. So hopefully you're back with me now and you have a white circle or a pink circle in my case. So here's how we're gonna make an angle out of this. Well, let's see. From here to all the way around is 360 degrees. Okay, you ever hear anybody and they're like on like a skateboard and they're like, I'm gonna do a 360, and then they turn all the way around, right? That's 360 degrees. Or perhaps you've seen somebody on like a BMX bike and they're going, or a skateboard, I'm gonna do a 180. And they go halfway around. They turn in the opposite direction. So all the way around is 360 degrees. Let's not worry about that right now. Let's just take our circle and let's fold it in half. Okay? And try to listen. If it's not perfect, it's not perfect. Because honestly, regardless to how ugly your outside of your circle is, the 90-degree part should still work. Like the right angle part should still work. So let's see if we can fold in half again. So we're going to fold it in half once and then fold it in half again. All right, and as long as you match up the edges, it doesn't really matter what the rest of your circle is. So if this is all like, whoa, it doesn't really matter. Because as long as you take your circle or something that looks roughly like it, you have your right angle template right here. This, what we have just created, is a right angle. Okay, and this is the first type of angle that we're going to explore today. It's called a right angle. And if we look at our angle template paper, what I want you to do is I want you to take, see what a perfect little angle, ooh, look at that. You could actually make a nice little perfect square, right? It's actually so perfect, you could actually make a square right there. If I just took my pencil right here and I drew a line this way and this way, probably should use my ruler to do this if I really wanted to be fussy about it, but I'm not going to. And there, and you could actually make a perfect square in the corner. And again, I know I did it freehand. I should have done that. So try to take your things and try to see if you can match this up perfectly to any of the angles here. What do you mean by match this up? I mean, like if I tried to match it up to this one right here, down here, it's obviously not a perfect match because this ray, remember that from yesterday, doesn't line up to right here. So you need to try to pause this for a minute and try to see which ones match up as perfectly as you can. Okay, and try to, you'll have to turn it, right? You have to turn it in different things and turn it different ways. Okay, pause it. Hey, welcome back. So I think there might be like two here that are nice, perfect matches. I think, and I haven't tested it yet, but I think A might be, if you did A right up here, okay? This A is a right angle because you could make that perfect square right here and the lines are perpendicular from each other in the most perfect way possible, right? And I think, and I could be wrong about this, I think maybe E? Yeah, I think so. I think E's one too. Now, Mr. Brown, what about when I matched up this one, I thought this one was, but if you see how you can see the bottom ray, but you can't see that the top ray gets kind of hidden, then it's not a perfect match. Okay, we will come back to this in a moment. So in the meantime, though, let's take some notes. You will need your ruler, you will need your pencil, and you will need your notebook. Okay. The first thing we're going to make, and you know what, heck, we could even use our template to make this. We are going to draw in our notes a right angle. And why not use it? Hey, listen, we've got it. Why not use it? Now, if you don't feel comfortable using this, you could always use a ruler. And you could also use the blue lines that already exist in your paper. So you'll want to hold it steady. Remember, I always say to try to hold it steady. I'll use my pen. So as long as I just don't make any mistakes. There. And then I'll line it up to right here. That's not too bad. This is a right, R-I-G-H-T. And we might as well label the top angles A-N-G-L-E-S. It's not E-L, that's angels. This is angles. So this is a right angle. You won't always see the perfect square, right? It can make a perfect square. However, you won't always see it. They don't always make life that easy to do that. So a right angle is 90 degrees, and we'll talk more about degrees on another day, okay? But right angle is 90 degrees. So it forms a perfect square in the corner, and it's a 90-degree angle. Okay, that's what we need to know about that. And we've seen a couple of examples on the template page. Okay, now let's look at a couple of these angles right here that are less than, where one of the rays gets hidden. I talked about example F. Let's try that one right there. I said F is one that doesn't match up because when you do this, one of the rays gets hidden right there. So you'll actually see that it's smaller, okay? It's less than a full 90. Let's see if we can find another example. What do you think? Hey, was G one too? Was G a right angle? Oh yeah, G was too. So if you were screaming at your screen going, Mr. Brown, G! What about G? Okay, fine. G was a right angle too. So let's see if there's another one. What about B? If you line up B, oh, I can see one ray, but I can't see the other, right? So B is another example that's less than, not by much. And obviously, come on, do I even have to use this? I mean, come on. Obviously, D is also less than. It's a smaller angle than. So these angles that are less than are called acute angles. Okay, and let's write acute below here. A, C. It's literally exactly how you would think. A and then the word cute. And that's how I remember these. Because little things like little puppies and little kitties and little animals, yes, I know my ruler is disgusting. They're usually adorable, right? Puppies are tiny and kittens are tiny and they're usually adorable and they're cute. So that's how I remember. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to start off by making one ray going in this direction. Don't forget your point right there, your end point, okay? And then what we're going to do is, as long as your second ray, it can't be like this. It can't be, as long as it's anything less than that. It doesn't matter if your second ray is this, or this, or this, or this, but it can't be perfectly perpendicular like that, because that will be a right angle. So as long as it's less than that, then you are fine. I'm going to go like here, okay? Make sure that there is the arrow on the end, because remember with rays, they go on forever in one direction, okay? Now you'll also notice that I'm not bothering with naming these angles today, right? Like the dots A, B, C. That's not important with today's lesson, right? It's not. It's more about just being able to identify which is which. So we can talk about the naming of the angles, angle ABC, angle XYZ. We can do that. That's not important today, okay? So as long as you need to know that an acute angle is, hey, let's use the less than symbol. It's less than 90 degrees. Again, if I was a betting man, I would probably say this was 40, maybe. I don't think, maybe it could be 45, but I doubt it. I think it's probably more along the lines of like 40 or something like that. But as long as it could be 89. It could be 87. As long as it's less than 90, it's acute. Okay, and this is what an acute angle looks like. Now let's look for our third type. Let's take a look at this. Now let's look for the big boys, okay, or big girls. So let's look for the wide ones, the ones that are way larger. So if you try to line them up, like let's say H, you can see one matches up to the bottom perfectly, and one is way out in left field, literally, right? This is wider than a 90-degree angle. This is wider than a right angle. It goes beyond that, all right? Remember, all angles start off here, and then they go in this direction. So it's like 0, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 70, 90, 100, 100. They go in this direction. So this one is obviously stretched beyond or is larger than or greater than 90 degrees. Here's another example. Wow. Okay, this one right here. I. Okay. I should have had you look for it. So, I know I'm going too fast. Slow down, Mr. Brown. Let them do it. I is obviously not, look at this. That is obviously way, way more. Is there another one? I'll let you find it. I'll let you find the last one. You can pause the video if you want to. Aha! Here it is. It's J. J right here. It's towards the bottom of the paper. And so if you line this up, but Mr. Brown, it kind of doesn't go past it much. It still goes past it. As long as, I don't care if it's 91 degrees, 92, 90, it's still greater than a 90-degree angle. It still goes beyond it. And this type of angle is called an obtuse, okay? So obtuse is our third one for the O-B-T-U-S-E. And we can draw an obtuse angle, but we need to give ourselves some room. All right, so make sure your ray, the bottom ray, make sure it's kind of all the way over to the right. Okay, on the right-hand side of your paper. Make sure it's like over here, okay? Because we are gonna go beyond 90, right? 90 will be this. So as long as the other one is here, or here, or here, or here, or here, don't go completely flat, because that's like something totally different, which we'll talk about at another time. Anything beyond, anything in between this, which is a right angle, and this, which is actually called a straight angle, we don't want to go there. Not totally. So I'll go, I don't know, right here. Okay. And this is an obtuse angle, okay? And this is greater than 90, okay? It's greater than 90. So There is another type of angle which I don't know that we're really going to get to today. It's not. I don't think we're going to go there. But that other type is called a straight angle, and a straight angle is pretty cool because it's just a straight line. But I don't believe that's in today's lesson. I believe that's in a future lesson. And it's really so. Again, to review, okay, we have our right angle template in order to match things up. If it's a right angle, it makes a nice perfect square in the corner, right, where the two rays meet, calling the vertex, by the way. Remember, the angle's made of two rays. It goes on forever in this direction, this direction. If it's a perfect right angle, perfectly perpendicular to each other, it's 90 degrees, and it's a right angle. If it's less than 90, it's acute. Oh, it's adorable. It's anything greater than 90, then it is obtuse. And again, it could be even 1 degree more, and it's still considered obtuse. And that's all for today's lesson. So that's the world of right, acute, and obtuse. And keep these notes handy because this will really help you with what's coming next. Have a wonderfully fantastic day. And all right, see you later.